Again, big Steelers game for you. Hopefully, folks will come to Red Ivy in Wrigleyville if they're watching this on the podcast.
And also, I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
I'm down here visiting my mother-in-law in Florida. Went to a great Browns bar in Naples, Browns backers here in Naples. And I encourage all Browns backers, visit other Browns backers, and because they are all awesome.
Outstanding, outstanding. Jake, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a great week. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Thanks for chiming in.
You do the same. Thank you.
Okay, Jake Wilkoff joining in from the Chi-Town Browns backers. Matt Lodi is standing by from SteelersGab.com. There he is. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, guys. Good morning. How are you?
Good. You're not driving, are you?
Nope. Hold off to the side of the road just for this, buddy.
Just making sure. All right. What happened to the Steelers yesterday?
You know, it's the NFL, Andy. It's the proverbial case of maybe you read your own headlines, maybe you get a little bit too arrogant. You know, they obviously laid what I would consider to be the biggest egg of the season against the Baltimore team that played their Super Bowl yesterday. Baltimore played a very good football game, and the Steelers didn't. And I feel like when you're talking about this time of the season and you're talking about rival games, you can't take them for granted. And I think the Steelers kind of threw their helmets on the field yesterday and just felt like they were going to be able to walk on that field and win against the Ravens team that, like I said, really didn't have anything to play for, but came out and played a really good football game. Ryan Mallett really surprised me. I thought he played really well under pressure. Javarius Allen and West, the two running backs, played well. And their defense stepped up against Ben Roethlisberger, which I think was obviously the key to the game. They got a couple of turnovers. They made stops when they had to, and now the Steelers are very much behind the eight ball when it comes to the playoffs again.
All right, but still that's got to start with a win next week at First Energy Stadium. What kind of a crowd do you expect for Steeler fans here on the lakefront?
Well, you know, it's interesting because I still think it's going to be a very, very pro-Steelers crowd next weekend. I mean, I think that Steeler fans, you know, I looked for a friend of mine yesterday at some of the ticket prices on some of those other websites that sell tickets, and they're very expensive, which tells me that Browns fans want, you know, they just want to get rid of these tickets because they can make some of their money back on their tickets. And I think it's going to be, you know, probably a 60-40 Steeler crowd next week. I think you're going to see a lot of Steeler fans at that stadium. And, you know, again, I think the Steelers will come out, they'll play their game next week. I think they'll be a lot more focused. Obviously, now they need help to get in the postseason. They need Buffalo to come through against the Jets, which isn't necessarily impossible by any means the way the NFL goes, but I think it's going to be a very pro-Steelers crowd at First Energy Stadium for sure.
All right, and Pittsburgh will be able to rebound after last week. Is that what you believe? Or do you think the Browns can play for something and feel like, you know what, let's knock these guys out?
Well, I mean, I do think that the Steelers will play a more focused game. I think that they kind of got woken up a little bit yesterday. You know, the Browns played them pretty good for about a half, or at least about a quarter, a little over a quarter in the game in Pittsburgh. I think it depends on what Pittsburgh team shows up. You know, under Mike Tomlin, the Steelers have always had issues getting up for bad teams on the road. We saw it again yesterday. We saw it a year ago with the Jets. You go back in Mike Tomlin's history, they do not play well on the road against bad football teams. But with that being said, with their backs up against the wall, I think the Steelers will come out and play a much better football game. I expect it to be a pretty entertaining game, though. I do. I think with the way Johnny played yesterday and the way the Browns defense played in the second half, I think it should be a pretty good football game. I think it'll be a fun football game, but I do think the Steelers will find a way to win here in Cleveland next week.
All right, Matt, Happy New Year to you. Merry Christmas from last week, and we always appreciate your time. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Thanks, guys. Have a great New Year yourself. Thanks so much.
Thank you. All right, Matt Lodi, SteelersGab.com, joining us. 216-431-3820. Skype in at Dogs on the Run. We're going to get Kenny back on the line here.
First, we're going to get Garrett Downing from the Ravens. We're going to find out what they did to beat the Steelers coming up.
Is he? You want to do? I wouldn't mind doing grade the team here too. So here's Garrett. Let's go to Garrett first, who is standing by in Owings Mills. Garrett, it was nice to see you when the Ravens were in town a couple weeks ago, which we're going to spend a little bit more time together. But first of all, what happened yesterday? And man, do you have a quarterback in the future? Are you ready to get rid of your old one?
Yeah, man. Yesterday was wild. You know, I don't think anybody really expected the Ravens to play as well as they did certainly yesterday. And Ryan Mallett came in here. Only been here for 12 days, and I mean, he looked like he had total command of the offense. There was nothing that wasn't at his disposal yesterday. And I mean, It's going to be interesting. I've been just driving in this morning on the radio. People were saying, I don't know if you need Flacco next year. Ryan Mallett, he looked pretty good. I'm not going there, but he definitely looked good and could get back for sure.
Are you surprised at Ryan Mallett and what he's been able to do? Because the Houston situation did not work out very well. Bill O'Brien, it just seemed like they wanted to give Ryan every chance in the world to be the starting quarterback over Brian Hoyer, and he just couldn't win the job.
Yeah, and he couldn't really excel in the areas off the field. He had the issues where he missed the team play. He had the issues where he overslept and missed practice. They had to send security out to his house to pick him up. But since he's come here, he's been pretty open about that in terms of talking to people in this organization about where he failed in Houston, and he admitted that he was immature and did things that didn't really, respect the position as much as he should have. So he's coming here, and I can tell you, he's been basically living out of this facility 24/7 since he's been here. I've been down there getting dinner at like 8 o'clock at night, and he's down there eating dinner with head coach John Harbaugh. And the other thing, too, is that talent's never been an issue for him. This is a guy who was highly recruited out of high school and, ended up in Arkansas. He's huge. He's 6'6", has a big arm, all of those intangibles. It's just been the issues of whether he can kind of put it together upstairs, and he's off to a good start in that regard here.
All right, Garrett, what do the Browns need to do to beat the Steelers the way the Ravens did?
They got to find a way to stop Antonio Brown, and the Ravens have been one of the only teams in the NFL that's been able to do that, especially when Ben Roethlisberger's at quarterback. But Antonio Brown didn't score a touchdown against the Ravens this year, and he had 103 total yards in 2 games. So if they can find a way to do that, it'll probably be tough without Joe Keaton. But that's the key, and it's easier said than done. But if you knock him off the mark, then it kind of disrupts everything else. The offense is totally insane. So I'd start there, and then the other thing too, turnovers. It's an old cliche right there. The Ravens had a couple turnovers yesterday. You need to get those turnovers if you're going to beat a high-scoring offense like the Steelers.
Outstanding. Garrett, we will talk to you soon. We're just kind of up against it for the end of the show. We'll read you at ravens.com. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Baskin.
All right, we'll talk to you later. That's Garrett Downing, former great worker here, I guess, or great, probably set the standard for what Newsnet 5 should be when he was here running the show, right?
Yeah,
especially as far as sports.
Great kid, really knows his stuff.
He's great, absolutely great. So, all right, so we're going back to Kenny, and we'll do a little grade the team.
Yep.
Hang on, Pierre's got something. Pierre, what's on there?
He's talking about Ryan Mallett, right?
Yeah.
Mallett was on the phone together. We're tweeting each other.
I can't see it. I see that, but I don't want to read your.
You see it, but
I see it. It's okay. You don't have to show it. Just what you and Ryan were back and forth
on the show with me on Twitter talking maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
I was telling him young gun, go out there and do your thing.
Yeah.
And look what he did.
But did he give you any props yesterday in the post game?
No, he ain't giving me no props, man. I don't need all that.
That's weak, man. Why didn't say, hey, my inspiration was this? All right, let's bring Kenny back in. We go to the triple box, and now we're going to do grade the team because we only have 5 minutes left. So, Eric, the referee, let's fire away. Let's go.
Let me ask you one question while I get this set up.
Okay.
So Johnny Manziel, do you think he's back next year? Is he back? What do you put the percentage odds on?
Unless he made Jimmy really mad with his Christmas video, I think he's back next year. Look, I think the one thing that I've learned, and I've said this before, Johnny has appeared to be coachable when it comes to football. If Johnny has a mistake in the offseason, a stupid mistake, he's fried. He's done. I can't imagine why any franchise would want to bring him back, a guy who's a face of the franchise, and time again. If he has another mistake, it just proves to me Johnny doesn't want to be here. Johnny doesn't want to be a quarterback here. Johnny's not committed to being the face of the franchise for the Cleveland Browns. And he'll move on and they'll go somewhere else. But it's as Kenny has said time and time again, what happens 1 week from tomorrow until the draft is going to be the difference for Johnny Manziel's future or not. As far as I'm concerned, again, he showed me that he's coachable on the football field, but then he's just, his friends and what he does off the field just drives coaches nuts. Kenny, go ahead.
Is there enough there that he's a starting quarterback in the league?
Is he a starting quarterback in the league? I still think that's on the edge. I don't know. His height still scares me. The footwork yesterday didn't look good. His passing ability was not. Look, I know he's playing a good team yesterday, but there's a play to Gary Barnidge that I would think that good quarterbacks make, and that's a touchdown pass. So there are some plays that I know, and that happens in every game, so I'm willing to give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but he has got to mature, and he's got to be able to get better as a quarterback. To me, I don't know that I'm handing the ball game one next year to Johnny Manziel if I'm any other team in the NFL. The Browns, maybe. Anybody else, I don't think so.
Okay, how many days does he have off in the off season?
Too many. How's that sound?
Okay, well, he needs to stay in Berea. He needs to live in Berea, stay in Berea, breathe, eat, live, everything in Berea until they give him time off. Otherwise, he's going to get in trouble. Trouble finds him. He's like T.I. He's a trouble man.
Pierre, do you believe that he will stay out of trouble in the offseason?
No.
Kenny Rhoda, do you believe that he will stay out of trouble in the offseason?
Hell no.
All right, let's grade the team.
We're staying on Manziel. Let's grade his play yesterday.
Okay, we'll start with the quarterback position. And Kenny, you can go first, C-.
See, mine, 13 of 32. When I think of quarterbacks, I think of a team that, or a player that's supposed to be able to throw the football, make plays in the passing game, as well as lead his team. He did a nice job of leading the team in the second half, but that was with his feet. And you saw the punishment that he took. I wonder how sore he is today. And like I said at the beginning of the show, there's no way he lasts 16 games if he's playing this way each and every game. 13 for 32, $136 or whatever it was. Those aren't numbers I want to see out of my quarterback, and they lost the game, too, on top of everything.
Kenny, I'll give you my grade on that, and let me tell you this, and I'll show you the biggest reason why he got a C-. That's the number of times he was in the end zone. On a pass, right? Nothing.
Yep.
0. That's the most
And a run.
important stat.
He didn't get in the end zone on a run either. Isaiah
21-yard
Crowell,
drive.
the only touchdown in the second straight week. They've had one touchdown or less.
21-play drive, and they came up with 3 points.
Yep.
Can't do that. Pierre, grade him.
I give him a D. I just think that, as a quarterback, you definitely, I don't know where that B came from. I gave him a D.
A D.
Stuff.
That's all right. Reading is fundamental when it comes to Eric the referee, so it doesn't really matter. D, you gave him a D.
Yes, that's dog.
A dog. Dog performance.
To me, you got to score points. As a quarterback, you got to put points on the board, and that's what he didn't do.
Eric the referee, next subject.
All right, let's do the running backs.
Running backs. Let me see. What do we give there? Let's start. We all gave him Bs. Kenny, just one-liner. Why'd you give him a B?
They actually got in the end zone, and they ran for over 200 yards. Granted, Johnny had over 100 of that, but Crowell actually ran fairly well yesterday, and he scored a touchdown,
Yes.
which is the object of the game.
Duke and Isaiah had over 100 yards. So to me, that was good enough. That gave me a B. You did your job. You did a good job. Pierre.
They did their job, and that's what it's all about, getting yardage and scoring points.
Next.
Real quick question. We heard about the 2 Pro Bowlers. I mean, we finally ran the ball, but
Are we done with grade the team?
we'll do one more after that.
We'll do the grade the team, then we'll move on to the next
Well,
subject.
it goes with the running game.
Go ahead.
Do you think that Mack and Joe Thomas deserved Pro Bowl selections, or were they
No.
in because of their names?
Names.
That was easy.
Just say names.
It's a name. Gary Barnett should be in Pro Bowl. Not an
That's the
alternate.
one guy that deserves it this year, and that's it.
That's it. Maybe Andy Lee. I don't know. Go ahead. Next. Okay.
All right,
Gary.
wide receivers.
Two.
What?
Grade the wide receivers. or the lack
Wide
thereof.
receivers. Let's fire that up. Oh, man, we are all in unison today. Let me give you your leading wide receiver, Travis Benjamin. 2 catches, 20 yards. Where's the captain on here? I don't see Dwayne Bowe with any catches. F. Kenny.
F. Ray Farmer's a joke.
Pierre.
Big failure. F. Flags everywhere.
Easy. Next. Is that it?
One more. Grade that defense.
Grade the defense. I actually think the defense had one of their best games yesterday. Look, Shikantrick only had, what did he end up with? How many yards? He had 62 yards. I mean, think about all the teams that ran all over the Browns all season long. Guys that I've never even heard of, that you couldn't pick up on a fantasy free agent list, that were running for over 100 yards yesterday. They didn't give up any points in the second half. I'm willing to say that Kansas City thought that they had this thing won when they went into the locker room at halftime. But still, I thought the defense played okay yesterday. I didn't have a problem with it. Not at all.
I gave him an F in the first half, an A in the second half, and that averaged out to a C.
That's fair. Pierre?
I just gave him a D-. I mean, at the end of the day, if they stop people and get the ball back to the offense. Hopefully Johnny can score, but that's not going to happen. The coaching was terrible.
They did,
So,
Pierre.
therefore-
They stopped the defense. I mean, they stopped Kansas City's offense at the end of the game. They gave the offense a chance to score. They put them in a position with 2 minutes to go out there and win the game.
So it boils
as
down
bad
to
as we
coaching
have
too,
just,
then.
you know what, all over the defense. Go ahead.
It boils down to coaching as well, then, huh?
I think so.
Mike Pettin deserves a D- or F, and give the defense a C. Then, how about that?
All right, I got you to change your mind. What else? Is that it?
That's it. Final thoughts.
Oh, wait, I'll even hit the button on this. Hang on a second. Oh, there it is. Final thoughts. Kenny, quickly, let's just do a little rapid fire here. 1, did you see Star Wars? Yes or no?
I have not, no.
All right, I won't spoil it for you. 2, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Give me a prediction.
Ohio State 38, Notre Dame 27.
Who's Michigan's in the what? Citrus Bowl? What are they playing in?
It's,
Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl?
It's the Wild Wing Bowl now.
Yeah,
Buffalo
I went
Wild
last year.
Bowl. Playing Florida.
Yeah, what do you think? Michigan win or lose that?
I'll be rooting for every team in the Big Ten this year in their bowl game. So I'll be pulling for the Wolverines and the Big Ten.
It's well played and very smart. Kenny.
17.
Pierre, Notre Dame or Ohio State?
Oh, Ohio State easily.
Ohio
I've never
State.
against no Big Ten team in the bowl game.
Will the Big Ten? I'll throw this at you real quick. Yes or no answers. Will the Big Ten prove itself in the major bowls here to be the elite conference that we all want it to be? Pierre, yes or no?
Yes.
Kenny, yes or no?
Yeah, they'll win more than they'll lose in, I think, 10 bowl games they have. So they'll have a winning record in their bowl game.
There you go. Final thoughts, Kenny Rhoda.
First of all, I want to congratulate myself for winning my fantasy football league, the Winky Dinky Dogs. As a general manager, I was able to make acquisitions throughout the season. I started 2-5 and finished by winning 9 straight games to crown myself as a Super Bowl champion, winning the Money Bowl. So if the Browns are looking for a general manager, I am available.
What's the name of your fantasy league?
My team name is the Winky Dinky Dogs. If you've seen the movie Hollywood Shuffle, you'll know all about the Winky Dinky Dogs.
Is it DAWGS or DOGS?
For this show, you can spell it DAWGS,
All right.
but in the movie Hollywood Shuffle with Robert Townsend, it's spelled the regular way. Winky Dinky Dogs.
Well, here, let me give you a little sign.
Come on.
Congrats to the Winky Dinky Dogs.
There
Nice
it
job.
is.
Pierre, final thoughts.
Some things should not be said.
Everything he said. Happy New Year, guys. Appreciate it.
Happy New Year, you too, man.
We'll see you next week on the last
next
Dogs.
Monday.
Well, you know what? If we do have a crazy week next week, we probably will have a special Dogs on the Run on Monday or Tuesday. Just let you know.
Hey, what's up with the Browns game, man?
What's up with what?
Are you going to the game?
Of course I'll be at the game.
Okay, well then I think I may come with you.
Okay, you're with me. We'll bring it in. Kenny, we'll see you next week, too. Thanks a lot, guys. That's Dogs on the Run. Thanks for watching on the podcast. Again, we tape Monday mornings at 7:30. Dogs on the Run. See you later.
God bless.
Bless, guys.